Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole. If you enjoy fragrances, you are definitely in the right place, so be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. So today's video is going to be all about the brand new Mugler Angel Elixir. Now, I have been wearing this fragrance for the last couple of days, so I can definitely give you an in-depth review instead of just a first impressions. Now, I do have a lot to say about this fragrance as a Mugler fan, so if you enjoyed the video while you're watching, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and let's get started right now. So first, let's go over a couple of quick details about this new fragrance. So as far as the packaging goes, as you can see, the box looks like the traditional alien. And as far as the actual bottle goes, you guys, it is absolutely stunning. It is a deep royal blue. Now this is the newer type of bottle where it can stand on its own, so you don't have to worry about it falling over. So I do have to say this is a beautiful presentation. Now, as I mentioned, I am a Mugler fan, so I decided to do a blind buy since I was not able to test this anywhere in store near me, unfortunately. Now, I did decide to go with the 100 ml or the 3.3 fluid ounce bottle, and that's because the 50 ml bottle was only about $30 cheaper, so it just made sense for me to get the larger one. So that is something I at least wanted to point out. If you spend an extra, I believe $30 or $35, you get twice as much product as opposed to the 50 ml. So again, that's why I decided to go with the 100 ml. So before I give you all of my thoughts, let's first get into the main accords and notes. The main accords are white floral, vanilla, sweet, woody, yellow floral, powdery, and citrus. Now, I did grab these main accords off of Fragrantica, and something that I found interesting, which I do find with many new releases when it comes to fragrances, a lot of the times the main accords can change. So I remember before I received the fragrance and I was just checking out some of the notes and main accords, woody was more up high, just for an example. So as of now, that's at least what Fragrantica is saying for the main accords. Angel Elixir is described as a floral, fruity, gourmand fragrance for women. As far as the notes, the top notes are pink pepper, the middle notes are jasmine, orange blossom, ylang ylang, and sandalwood. And the base notes are bourbon vanilla and amber extreme. Now, I am not a fragrance expert by any means. I am more of a fragrance enthusiast, I guess you could say. So I'm not exactly sure all of the science and the chemicals behind that amber extreme accord, but we'll get into what I think about the actual scent in just a moment. Now, I do have the Angel Elixir description in front of me here directly from the Mugler website. Now, I do think it is important to touch on just a couple of things, so I am going to read the description real quick. Angel Elixir. It's the soul of angel reinvented. The angel you don't expect. A pure elixir, expressing the augmented femininity of today's fearless superwoman. Innocent yet powerful. Grounded yet extraordinary. Ultra edgy yet embracing. With Angel Elixir, a new star is born. A totally original, woody, floral gourmand scent that reinvents what makes Angel Eau de Parfum so unique. So I did want to go ahead and read that description because there were a couple of word choices that I thought really stood out. So I'm just taking a look down at the paper here. So they do say a new star is born. I think they say that in all of them. But next they say a totally original, woody, floral gourmand scent that reinvents what makes Angel Eau de Parfum so unique. So the reason I wanted to point that out is because, of course, Angel Elixir is supposed to be a flanker of the original Angel Eau de Parfum. So if you were like me and you were originally expecting Angel Elixir to be very similar to the original, then I think you would be incredibly disappointed. This is nothing like the original Angel. Now that said, once I did a little more digging, I quickly found out that this Angel Elixir was supposed to be reinvented, so it was not going to be very similar or exactly like the original Angel. Now with all of that said, as I mentioned, I am a pretty big fan of Mugler. However, not all of Mugler's fragrances. Now, in fact, I'm not a fan of the original Angel. So for those that are die-hard fans of Angel, you were probably expecting to have some sort of cotton candy or perhaps patchouli and chocolate accords and notes, but unfortunately, none of those notes are in this new elixir. So I completely understand and respect that many of you are probably going to be incredibly disappointed with this elixir. It's absolutely in your right. That said, unfortunately, I am just not a fan of the original Angel. That patchouli note just does not do well on my skin. So please take all of that into account when I'm giving you my review. This is just my experience and my personal preferences. Now, I do enjoy many other of Mugler's fragrances, such as Angel Ice Star and Alien Goddess, for example. Now, I also expect that many people are probably going to compare Angel Elixir to Alien Goddess. I do think the same thing goes. These are two completely different fragrances. Now, even though Alien is not part of the Angel line, I know this gets very confusing, at least it did for me in the beginning. But Alien Goddess, this is much more of an uplifting, almost effervescent, bright, beachy coconut scent, and I don't get the same with Elixir. Now, when I first tested out Angel Elixir the other day, I did spray it on this tester card right here. So I'm not sure if the camera is going to be able to pick this up, but there is a slight yellow stain right here. So just be careful if you do plan to spray this fragrance on any sort of garments or clothing. Just be careful if you're wearing white. Now, I was kind of excited to see that because that usually means the fragrances are not going to be weak. So when I first sprayed Angel Elixir, I got a semi-sweet, also semi-spicy white floral. Now, I do almost pick up coconut in this fragrance. Now, coconut is not listed anywhere whatsoever, but to my nose, I almost get a little bit of a coconut. However, this fragrance does not give me tropical or beachy vibes like I was expecting. To me, it gives a feminine, soft and spicy floral scent. Now, when I say white florals and perhaps coconut, this fragrance does not send me to the beach, so I just wanted to make that clear. I do not think Angel Elixir smells anything like Alien Goddess. Now, while I do enjoy spicy fragrances, pink pepper and any sort of pepper note specifically can kind of be a hit or miss for me. So I was a little bit nervous because pink pepper is the only note on the opening. But to my surprise, even though this fragrance does have a slight spice, especially in the opening, it's nothing like black pepper or even white pepper. It's more subdued. And it also mixes with some of the other creamy notes, so semi-spicy, semi-sweet, and also creamy. Now, in addition to the soft and spicy pink pepper opening, I also get quite a bit of the jasmine that comes through, much more than the orange blossom, which I was kind of excited for because orange blossom is kind of having a moment right now. So I did kind of appreciate that jasmine is much more in the forefront than the orange blossom to me. Now, one of my favorite notes, other than the traditional vanilla, coconut, and all of those types of notes, is actually ylang-ylang. Now, I love ylang-ylang because I do find it provides sometimes a tropical feel, yes. I don't get the tropical feel in this fragrance, but it does provide a very creamy substance to this one. Now, in addition to the pink pepper and heavy white florals that I do get upon the opening, I also get ylang-ylang throughout the entire wear of the fragrance. Now, I really appreciate that. I personally love ylang-ylang, and that's because it provides a very creamy substance to fragrances. Now, even though it is semi-creamy, I do know that some people read creamy as being lactonic. This fragrance is not lactonic to my nose, just a bit creamy. Now, after a few moments, once this fragrance has had a chance to start to dry down, I do get much more of the sandalwood, amber, and vanilla. So that's when all of those notes start to come to the surface and offer a bit more sweetness to the fragrance. Now, I don't find this fragrance extremely sweet. Now, some people may, that's also very subjective, but just for an example, if you have ever tried Angel Ice Star, even though this fragrance is fresh, it's also quite sweet. And I also find Alien Goddess is quite sweet as well. So the new Elixir, it is sweet, but not as sweet as the other two that I just mentioned. Now, I do find it interesting that Elixir is described as a floral fruity fragrance because to my nose, I don't get a ton of fruits that come through. It's definitely much more floral to my nose. So if I were to have to describe how this fragrance smells in just a few descriptive words, I would say it's soft spicy, definitely not a heavy spicy fragrance. It definitely is centered around the white florals. The ylang-ylang and sandalwood make it quite creamy, and it's just semi-sweet. So I would say it's much more of a floral woody fragrance as opposed to a fruity floral gourmand. Now, I have heard some people comparing Elixir to Black Opium. And while I can understand where they're coming from because of the jasmine and orange blossom, I still find these fragrances are different enough to own both. And that's because Black Opium really centers around that coffee accord, where this one does not. Now that said, if you do have many fragrances that are floral heavy, specifically focused on jasmine or white florals in general, then this may be one you want to skip out or test out first. But if you're like me and you don't have tons and tons of floral fragrances in your collection, I do think this is a beautiful floral woody fragrance. This fragrance actually makes me feel very feminine and classy. And in fact, I could see this fragrance being someone's signature scent. Now, even though Elixir has certain notes such as ylang ylang and orange blossom, and often those notes are associated with wearing only in the warmer or hotter months, I do actually think this fragrance would wear well all throughout the year. So if you couldn't tell, I am very happy with this fragrance. I just feel very feminine and classy when I wear this, and I can see myself wearing it in all different types of occasions. So overall, I'm very happy with Angel Elixir. I'm even more happy that I decided to go with the 100 ml because I'm definitely going to be wearing this quite a bit. Now, one other thing I did want to touch on is the longevity and projection. Now, I always hesitate whenever I bring this up because I do find all of our skin chemistry is quite different, so what lasts long on me may not last on you and vice versa. But for me, Angel Elixir actually projects quite well. In fact, today when I was at work, I got a compliment and they were a couple feet away from me. I'd been wearing the fragrance for a couple of hours already, so I do think the projection is pretty good. Definitely not beast mode by any means, but I don't find it's a puny fragrance either. Now, after a couple of hours, once this fragrance starts to really dry down on the skin, it does sit a bit closer to the skin, but it is definitely not a skin scent. So again, not beast mode by any means, but overall, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10 when it comes to longevity and projection. Now, the one complaint I do have when it comes to Angel Elixir, it is definitely the atomizer. It is not great. Now, I do find the atomizer is actually the same with most of the other Angel flankers that I've tried. So again, same is true with the Angel Ice Star atomizer. Now, don't get me wrong, they don't shoot out like a fire hose by any means, but they're just not super fine. Whereas the atomizer on Alien Goddess, for example, these are awesome. So let me give this a quick spray on my skin so you can see. So again, not terrible, but not the best either. Now listen, when you spray Angel Elixir, I don't recommend giving this a sniff immediately. Give it a few minutes to dry down because I do find if you inhale it quickly, it can really tingle the nose a bit. So just give it a few minutes. Yeah, you guys, Angel Elixir, it is just a beautiful fragrance. It is definitely my cup of tea. Now I know some people may think that this fragrance is juvenile. I just don't find that. I think this is a beautiful floral fragrance. Now that said, you guys know I do enjoy my very sugary sweet gourmand, so no shade to those fragrances. I just don't find Angel Elixir as like those. I do have to give props to Mugler as well because their shipping is awesome. If you are in their member circle, I think it's what it's called, you do get Shop Runner, which is 2-day free shipping. And the last thing I'll leave you with, if any of you out there watching are Mugler stans and you are completely upset at what L'Oreal has done to the Mugler brand overall, I can completely understand and respect that. Let's just remember we all have our own preferences with fragrances, so just keep it polite in the comments down below. So let me know down below, have you guys tested out the new Angel Elixir? If you did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Are you passing on it? Let us know all of your thoughts down below. Alright you guys, well I really hope you enjoyed today's review. If you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys!